Welcome back everyone to Aussie Scrapper. I'm Sylvia with another scrapbook layout for you today. And I am doing a challenge on the Scrap Suite, and it's challenge number 2 by Rachel. And the theme is Into the Woods. And the main challenge, I guess, is that you have to use at least 3 wooden items. So that got me thinking, and I decided I had a photo of my son when he was helping me in the garden. So I've pulled out anything that I thought related to the garden. So those were some stamps. Here are some stencils that I have. And as you saw me earlier, I was just going through some papers. And these are the 2 photos. So I'm just going to play around with different papers and work out what I'm going to do. And I had an idea in mind when I first started this layout, but as happens in scrapbooking, the final layout is nothing like what I had in my head. By the time I just started pulling papers out and thinking about the theme, with me it just takes on a life of its own, and I get what I get. But I was really happy with this layout, and it didn't take me that long to do. Like, I can spend at least 5 hours on a layout, and this one was completed in an hour. The longest part about this layout was choosing the papers. I knew I wanted nature colours, so I was going for browns and greens, and I think I even looked at some blues. But in the end, I stuck with the brown theme because to me, Into the Woods is all about brown, and it was winter when these photos were taken, and we're in the garden preparing the soil for the next spring. So everything was looking a bit brown and dreary. Still thinking about the photos, not the photos, sorry, about the papers that I'm going to use. And that background paper I do land up using. It's the B-side of a Kaisercraft paper, and the Kaisercraft paper is called Always and Forever collection. And it's from the Always and Forever collection, and it's called Romance, and it's number P2089. So I adhere my photos down onto it, and um, I, I trim them around about half an inch all around and keep it in a square. Now that little photo there, the one with him with the spade, that I cut down to 3.5 by 3.5 inches, that is. Then I find this wood grain sort of tree, and I fall in love with it. And that paper is also from Kaisercraft, and it's from the base coat collection, and it's called, very appropriately, Tree Trunk. And that number is, for that paper, is P1332. So what I start doing is I just start cutting strips of all these papers. A bit similar to the last layout I did, but it didn't take me as long. I think I'm getting better at layering. And my thinking behind this of putting all these strips of layers going down is when I think of Into the Woods, or I even look out my backyard, because we live in a rural setting, the trees are all up and down. There's nothing really horizontal. It's all vertical. So I went with a vertical layering system, I guess you call it. So yeah, that's all I'm doing, just cutting strips of all these wood looking paper, wood grain paper. How would you say that? Wood grain? Anyway, anything that looks like wood and I had in my stash, I used in all sorts of strips. Now those strips don't land up staying like that. I do cut them down. This was just trying to, for myself, to get an idea of what I was going to do. So here I am. I'm finally adhering everything down. Now, all this said, I don't actually show the whole process of me gluing down paper. My thought process was that most of us know how to glue down paper, however you want to do it, so I didn't show that whole thing. I did cut some, I did start cutting with the scissors, but as you can see, I don't cut very straight. I haven't got that talent. I always cut crooked. So I will get out my trimmer and cut them all again because I don't like that crooked look. It's not what I was going for. Well, I just didn't like it really. It's not that it's not what I was going for. I didn't like the look of it. So I just got my trimmer and I cut them all in a straight line. To all those ladies that can cut straight, I applaud you. I can't do it to save my life. Thank God that we have trimmers because I'd be lost without mine. I left a lot of this in, didn't I? I thought I'd cut all this out. Anyway, there it is. So now I'm working on my tie tool, and I do want to call it Always So Sweet because at that age he was just so sweet. He'd help me in the garden, and he used to pick flowers for me in the spring. And yeah, I miss that little boy. He doesn't do that anymore. He's going to be 13 on Friday, so yeah, it's a bit upsetting. But anyway, he has to grow up, I guess, as much as I don't like it. Now that clock that I've cut in half is a Kaisercraft wooden flourish, and it's called Roman clock face. And yeah, it's just a Roman clock face wooden flourish. FL 352 they've got. And I like this other paper too. Originally I was going to go with a plain cardstock, but I'll end up using this reminisce paper. It was called Amore, whatever. Can't remember, sorry about that. But it was a reminisce paper, so I just used double-sided tape to adhere it onto a brown mat. I seem to like matting everything lately. I'm not sure why, but I quite like the look of having it matted down. So it's only a thin little border of a mat. And I'm going to be using that stencil, and it's also a Kaisercraft stencil. And I just mixed some modeling paste with some of that, oh, what was it? Can't remember what it was called. It's Color Burst, and I think the name of it was Lime Green. So I just mixed it there, and I just apply it all onto my layout in all different sections. And I like using Color Burst to mix it with my modeling paste because it doesn't change the consistency of the modeling paste. Because it's a powder, the modeling paste still stays nice and thick. I've used sprays in the past or whatever, and it just gets a little bit runnier. So yeah, I just put some of those leaves. I didn't use the whole tree, just the little leaves parts of it everywhere. And now I'm finally going to adhere the whole layout to my page. And even though it's not what I expected or what I had in mind when I first started out, I'm really happy with the end result. So I'm just gluing everything down, just using some Scott tacky glue to adhere those Roman clocks. And now it's time for the title. So I wasn't sure about the colour. And originally I thought I was going to paint them, but then a thought came to me, and we all know that I love my perfect pearls. So here they are, my perfect pearls, and that colour is the perfect bronze. And I'm just using, instead of using Versamark, I'm just using the medium that Ranger provide when you buy their perfect pearls, which to me it's the same as Versamark. It just stays wet so that you can apply the pearls. Now, I was using a brush that wasn't very soft at the beginning, so then it was sort of leaving like scratch marks, and it wasn't looking the way I wanted it to look. So I swapped to a softer brush, and I loved the end results of that. So there it is, looking beautiful. A bit of shine without having too much shine. So yeah, that's how I want the title. So I'm just using my Liquitex heavy Oh, heavy gel medium, that's what it's called. And I love how that looks. I'm really happy with this layout. So once again, till next time, and thank you everyone for the time that you took to watch my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.